thought I'd share this little book on baseball now that the baseball season has begun. I haven't been following baseball for too long, but I just kind of got into it recently, and there's a lot of things I don't know about it. So this little book is called Watching Baseball Smarter, Professional Fans Guide for Beginners, Semi-Experts, and Deeply Serious Geeks by Zach Campbell. So just kind of thought I would look through it. It came out in 2007, so any new rule changes or anything for the last 10 years, it's not going to have that. So the chapters, let's see, there's a chapter on the basics, chapter 2, pitchers and catchers, chapter 3, hitting, base running, fielding. Chapter 6 is on stadiums. Chapter 7, umpires. Chapter 8, statistics. Chapter 9 is called Random Stuff to Know. Chapter 10, Random Stuff to Notice. And then there's a glossary of baseball slang, appendix with more statistics, and another appendix with uniform numbers. Okay, this is a section, it's called The Road to the Major Leagues. That's one of the things, I know about the minor leagues, but AA, AAA, it's all kind of Greek. So this lists a typical minor league system. It shows 6 levels. The very beginning level is called a rookie. Then there's the Class A short season. Then there's the Class A League, for instance, the Midwest and South Atlantic. The Class A Advanced, for example, California, Carolina, and Florida State. Then there's the Double A's. Examples are the Eastern League, the Southern League, and the Texas League. And then there's the AAA, such as the International League and the Pacific Coast League. So, once you get into the Major League main divisions, there are 2 leagues, and each with 30 teams. The 2 leagues are the National League and the American League. And each league has divisions. So there's the East, the Central, and the West. So what you'll typically hear is like NL East, NL Central, AL West. So that means National League, East, American League, West. And then within each of these divisions, you have the individual teams. So for example, the NL East, we have the Atlanta Braves, the Florida Marlins, the New York Mets, Philadelphia Phillies, and the Washington Nationals. In the AL East, American League, are the Baltimore Orioles, Boston Red Sox, the New York Yankees, Tampa Bay Devil Rays, and the Toronto Blue Jays. Now, the major difference between the American and the National is what's known as DH, or the designated hitter. In the National League, the pitcher has a spot in the batting order. In the American League, the designated hitter bats for the pitcher. So the American League adopted the designated hitter in 1973 to bolster the offense and more popularity among the fans. The National League voted against it. So it's just kind of a random division. When the teams from each league play each other, then wherever the home team is, whichever they are, that's the one that dominates for that game. So they play by the rules of the home team. Spring training. We just got done with spring training. It's generally in Arizona. They play for, I don't know, 2 months maybe, 2 or 3 months. And they have a lot of practices and games and basically getting them back in shape and warmed up and testing out some of their new prospects. So the regular season begins in April, and for this year, I think the first game was April 4th. So there's chapters on pitchers and catchers, and you'll hear a lot about pitchers. They are probably the main focus in terms of any individual player position. Pitcher's really important, so there's a lot of focus placed on the pitcher. So there are several different types of pitches that are commonly used in the major leagues. Here's some of them here. There's the fastball. And the way they make the different types of pitches often has to do with how they're gripping the ball, which fingers they're using, the position of their fingers and their thumb, and where the ball is in terms of the stitches, the seam here, where their fingers are in relation to the seam. It has a lot to do with the movement of the ball once it's pitched. Okay. So within the fastball, there's a 4-seam fastball, a 2-seam fastball, a cut fastball, also called a cutter, a sinker, a rising fastball, And the next major category are curveballs, also known as benders, hammers, hooks, yacker, snapper, Mr. Snappy. Never heard of that. So in this case you can see that he has one finger tucked underneath. Then there's a slider, and it says a slider is like a fast curveball with more lateral movement. The pitcher presses his middle finger against the seam, as he does when throwing a curve, to create the tightest spin possible. The three variations of the slider include the backdoor slider, backup slider, and a slur. Then we have the changeup. And the changeup actually changes its velocity during the movement of the ball towards the batter, which is pretty kind of amazing. So it makes the hitter swing too soon because they perceive the ball will be getting to them sooner. So it kind of slows down as it gets towards home plate. Then there is the split finger fastball, the knuckleball, the screwball. It actually says it's an obsolete pitch. The spitball, I don't think that's legal these days. These are some really unusual ones. I'm not even going to name them. Let's see. The balk, B-A-L-K. This doesn't come up too often, but if you're watching a game, you may sometimes hear the umpire call balk on a pitcher. And what this means is the pitcher stops or pauses in his delivery. Once he gets in position and starts to throw, indicating to the batter that he's about to throw, if he suddenly stops, that's called balking. And that's allows runners to advance one base. So they were things that were developed to try and prevent a lot of deception going on. So the pitcher must follow certain steps to make sure they don't get charged with the ball. He must be touching the rubber when he gets the catcher's sign and when he begins his delivery. He can't touch the rubber if he doesn't have the ball. When he's touching the rubber, he can't drop the ball. When he's pitching from the stretch, he must bring his bare hand and glove hand together in front of his body and hold them still for at least a split second before making his delivery. This pause is called a set, short for the term set position. and it prevents him from quick pitching the runner. And you'll hear this term set. And once he takes his set, he has to follow through. What do they talk about on the mound? A coach never visits the mound to congratulate his pitcher. He might give the guy advice, discuss strategy, or simply stall so a reliever has more time to warm up. You never really know, but here are some possibilities. So he could be talking about mechanics, the batter's strengths and weaknesses, the pitch selection and sequence, considering an intentional walk, defensive strategy, pep talk, calming the pitcher, light-hearted distraction, and fatigue. Tommy John. You may hear Tommy John surgery. A lot of pitchers do go through this very specific procedure, and it was named for a 31-year-old pitcher named Tommy John. He blew out his left elbow, and a doctor named Frank Job attempted the first ligament replacement surgery. So this operation, he would have basically, his career would have been pretty much over, and this allowed him to come back and win an additional 164 games in his career. So you'll hear he's having Tommy John, or he had Tommy John. All right, now we are in the hitting section. The lineup. That's the order of your 9 starters, and I kind of wondered why they spend so much time talking about the lineup, because it only really affects you at the very beginning of the game, because after that you're just in a rotation for the rest of the innings. But this says, over the course of a season, the first few hitters in the lineup come to bat about 100 times more than those at the end. So when you think about that, it becomes very important what hitters you have up front. So usually there would be a leadoff hitter. His job is to get on base and use the speed to make something happen. Okay. And the number 2 hitter should be a contact hitter with excellent bat control. Anyway, it goes on and on through the ideal lineup. This is a chapter on base running. talks about the process of running the bases, a lot of different rules. When the play is forced, what happens during a fly ball, the base. Okay, well, let's see what else. Okay, fielding. Fielding is what happens out in the field after the ball has been hit. So this is a little diagram of all the bases in the standard positions. This is the third base, second base, and the first base. And the players, you have the catcher, the first baseman there standing a little bit off the base. Second baseman kind of covers the area sometimes between first and second. The shortstop and the third baseman. And they have different places that they usually stand depending on various things like if somebody's on base already, then it will shoot. Depends on the batter. If they know the batter tends to hit more to one side of the field or the other, or say might be doing a bunt, or he's a really good slugger, so they vary it. So those are called different defenses. So playing outfield, you have a right fielder, a center fielder, and a left fielder. And infielders, you have your shortstop, and you have your first, second, and third base. All right, let's see. Oh, here's a little quiz. This is in the section on umpires. They have to know the rules inside and out. And one of the things they have to call is whether a ball is fair or foul. So here's a little quiz, and if you want to take it, the answer is either a fair or foul. And I'll read the answer. Where are the answers? Okay, here are the answers. Okay. Number 1, a fly ball hits the foul pole. The answer: it's a fair ball, and it's a home run. Number 2, a deep fly ball lands in fair territory, then bounces over the wall on the foul side of the foul pole. Do you know that? That is a fair ball. Number 3, a fly ball lands on a pebble in foul territory and bounces into fair territory. That is a foul. Doesn't matter where a fly ball bounces, only where it lands. Number 4. A bunt rolls onto home plate and stays there. That is fair. The plate is part of fair territory. Number 5. The third baseman lets a bunt roll foul, but he reaches across the foul line and touches it while standing in fair territory. That is a foul. The location of the ball is the only thing that matters. Number 6. A line drive sails above first base in fair territory, then hooks and lands foul down the right field line. That, my friends, is a foul. If the ball is in the air, it doesn't matter where it passes the base. Number 7. A grounder bounces past first base in fair territory, then hooks and rolls foul before reaching the foul pole. I think that's fair because it passed first base. Let's see, right? Fair. The grounder simply has to pass the base in fair territory. Then it can roll anywhere. Number 8. A grounder touches fair territory, then bounces directly over first base and lands in foul territory. Bounces. I think that would still be fair. Fair. It doesn't have to land past the base in fair territory. Okay. 9. A line drive up the middle hits the pitching rubber and ricochets into foul territory between third and home. That's the pitching rubber. I think that'd be a foul. 9. Foul. The rubber is part of the field, and the ball didn't pass the base in fair territory. Number 10. Line drive up the middle hits the pitcher's shoe and ricochets into foul territory between first and home. It's the pitcher's shoe. That's interference or something. Well, that's called fair. Whether he caught it, kicked it, or kissed it, the ball was fair when he touched it. 11. A pop-up drifts past the edge of the stands into foul territory, then gets blown back by the wind and lands in fair territory. I think that should be fair because it landed. Fair. Ball is out of play only if it lands in foul territory. Okay, so how did you do? If you got all 11 questions, you're a big league umpire. If you got 7 to 10, warning track power. Don't know what that means. You got 3 to 6, beware of hecklers. And if you got 2 or fewer, no more hot dogs for you. All right, strike zone. Strike zone is very contentious among umpires. Nowadays, they sometimes use machines. You can see the outline on TV of a strike zone, but of course, that's only for the television viewers. The people on the field don't see it, so they have to rely on the umpires. The strike zone is generally the width of the home plate by the height of roughly between the batter's knees and the letters on his jersey. So these are some of the ways that an umpire might call what happens. Okay. He's safe. He's out. It's a ball. A ball means that, well, a couple different things, but if the pitcher pitches a pitch that is outside of the strike zone, the batter does not swing at it, that's called a ball, and 4 balls equals a walk. So if that happens 4 times during a at bat, then the batter gets to walk to first base. Now if he swings at it, even though it's outside the strike zone, it's called a strike regardless. So anytime he swings at the bat and doesn't hit the ball, it's called a strike. There are probably some fine exceptions, but this is the way I understand it. So, and of course, 3 strikes and you're out. So that's the end of your at bat if you get 3 strikes. All right, so safe, out, ball, strike, foul tip, hit by a pitch. If any batter gets hit, any part of him, even just his toe, by a pitch, he automatically gets to walk to first base. Time out, time in, fair ball, foul ball, home run, ground rule double, infield fly, fan interference, no catch, no pitch, possession, no possession, check swing, run scores, foot off the base, balk, pitching change, substitution, warning, and ejection. And all of these have the gestures here that the umpire will do. For example, for an ejection, and an umpire can and does, with some regularity, eject players as well as coaches and even managers out off the field. It can be for arguing, fighting, just about anything he doesn't like. So he points his finger to the player, and then he gestures like, and he says, "You're out of here." Or sometimes he just points and whoosh, like, "You out." So they wield a lot of power. What else do we have here? We have statistics. There are a lot of statistics in baseball, just more than you would ever think possible. Let's see. Some of the ones you'll hear most common is on base percentage, which is how often a batter reaches base. Then we have the slugging percentage. How good is the batter at delivering extra base hits? Stolen base percentage, winning percentage, fielding average, batting average, and that's just earned run average. So the most often you'll hear about a hitter is batting average, and about a pitcher it's earned run average, ERA. But there are a lot more. How to keep score. Scoring is a whole field to itself. A lot of abbreviations. Here's some of them. Single, double, triple, home run, walk, intentional walk, stolen base, caught stealing, swinging strikeout, called strikeout, wild pitch, passed ball, sacrifice bunt, sacrifice fly, hit by pitch, fielder's choice, line drive out, fly out, pop out, error, double play, triple play, balk, unassisted, defensive indifference, and picked off. And each position on the diamond has a number. So 1, pitcher, catcher, first base, second base, third base, shortstop, left field, center fielder, and right fielder. It's 1 through 9 respectively. So you'll see something like, 2, 5, 7 or something like that. So that means the catcher threw it to the third baseman and then threw it to the left field or something. So then they have these charts. You can actually buy them or print them off online if you want to. But you can record everything if you want to, and actually the announcers in the booths at the games that are calling the game for radio and television, not all of them do it, but I've seen them keeping this themselves. And it's pretty cool to see one all filled out because it looks kind of like hieroglyphics. So here's your lineup. Here's their position. So like Hernandez, shortstop, Gonzalez, second base. Here's a pinch hitter, Rodriguez, right fielder, etc. And then here's each pitch. First pitch, second pitch. I'm sorry, these are innings. First inning, second inning, third inning. And down here you've got hits. You've got runs, hits, errors, left on base. And then there's all kinds of diagrams and codes. Here's one like you might see in the newspaper. Show all the players, number of their at-bats, so how many times they came up to bat, their runs, their hits, BI, BB, and SO, which I already forgot what those mean. and then their total seasonal batting average. Someday I'd like to learn this. I think it would be fun. So if you really know what you're doing, you can look at this gobbledygook and interpret it. So like, this is what you would see. And the Padres turned 2 4-6-3 double plays, grounded into 2 double plays, hit his 9th home run of the season, hit 2 doubles, giving him 16 this season. This tells you what the pinch hitters and pinch runner did. Here it says there was 1 out when Guerrero hit his 3-1 walk-off homer in the bottom of the 10th. Here he committed his 3rd error of the season. The Expos left 9 men on base. And each of these guys made the 3rd out of an inning with the runner on 2nd or 3rd base. So that is that. Here's another chart. Blew a save. Blew a save for the first time this year by allowing the Padres to tie the game with 2 runs in the top of the 9th. But he stayed in the game, pitched a scoreless 10th, and got the win when his team scored in the bottom of the inning. So you can get all that from like one line. That includes the attendance, the seating capacity of the stadium, how long the game lasted, there's a whole, I don't know, encyclopedia probably on different statistics that are kept regarding baseball. This is about the All-Star Game, which is an exhibition game held in roughly the middle of the season. It takes players that are nominated and voted for from all different teams, and I think they play maybe the American League against the National League, but I'm not sure about that. Not sure. The Hall of Fame. Seventh inning stretch. That is kind of like an intermission, but it's really short. It's like 5 minutes or something. This is how it came to be, which of course I had no idea. On opening day in 1910, William Howard Taft, the 27th President of the United States, was at Griffith Stadium to watch the Washington Senators battle the Philadelphia Athletics. As the afternoon wore on, the 300-pound Taft became uncomfortable in his tiny wooden seat and finally stood up to stretch. The fans stood too, thinking the president was leaving. But he wasn't going anywhere and soon sat down. So did everyone else. It was the middle of the 7th inning, and a tradition was born. That's funny. Seventh inning stretch. It's the bottom of the seventh inning. Right, well, there is a lot more to this book. Here's uniform numbers, a lot of statistics and the acronyms. There's so many. This is all different statistics. And here's the glossary. So, well, I hope you enjoyed this and learned a little bit, or at least just enjoyed hearing a little bit about America's pastime.